Welcome to another edition of the 5-Star Zone. Rico Beard, Evan Jenkins, and we have a special guest. He is going into the MSU Hall of Fame. He's vice president of Piiva currently. He's number 53 on the field and number one in every Spartan fan heart. Greg Jones, kind enough to join us here on the 5-Star Zone. Greg, how you doing, man? I mean, going into the Hall of Fame, let's just start right there. What was that phone call like, and what were the feelings that you had?
Wow. The phone call, well, when Alan called you, is either for a good reason or a bad reason. So, and I mean, and granted, I've been doing my best to, keep my notes clean and stay productive and everything. But no, man, it was an amazing call me and Alan had, just telling me how great of a Spartan I've been. He was just super complimentary of everything that I've been doing, and that I will continue to do, man. And he just was honest, and then he just broke it down to me and let me know I'm going in. And then I got another call and with trying to set everything up for tickets and everything. And then I guess I was told I might be a first ballot or close to a first ballot. Either way, that I just still feel so honored, man. And to answer your question more fully, I just felt amazed, man. I really am humbled by it. And just all the sacrifice and everything that came into it, man, just truly amazing. And yeah, man, it's been a long journey. So yeah, it's kind of cool to kind of be in this moment right now, man. It really is very surreal.
Well, Greg, let's talk about that journey, because it was a different twist on the journey that I don't think a lot of Spartan fans realize. But you were originally headed to Minnesota, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
And instead you end up coming to Michigan State.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go back through that time period. And because I said that, to me, you coming to Michigan State for the football team was probably as critical as Antonio Smith and Tom Izzo for the basketball team. With you coming, you brought players to Michigan State that normally they would play against, and now they're coming to play for the Spartans. How did that transformation take place, that you went from Minnesota to coming to Michigan State?
Yeah, I remember like it was yesterday. Minnesota was playing Texas Tech in a bowl game, and the receiver on the other side of Minnesota was Michael Crabtree. And Mike went off. They were winning the game 37. Minnesota was winning the game 37-3 or 37-7, one of those two. They were winning that game going into the fourth quarter, and Texas Tech, or the end of the third quarter going into the fourth quarter, and Texas Tech came all the way back and won. And the head coach was let go, who's on the Big Ten Network now. Oh my goodness.
Not Gennaro, Glenn Mason.
Glenn Mason.
Yeah.
Was let go on the spot that night. And then, I opened up my recruiting again. The guy coming in, I think, was Tim Brewster at the time, just came from Harvard. And not that he was like a bad dude or anything like that. It was just like it wasn't a good fit, and I could feel it. And Coach D had left University of Cincinnati, got the job at Michigan State. And he said, I'm only taking a couple guys that I think I really like a lot. I think they can actually play, and ended up being me and a guy named Garrett Selleck, who ended up playing, for a long time out of LaSalle High School, one of our rival high schools. So me and Garrett went up, and as you know, Garrett ended up playing for 10 years, and I did what I did as well too. So yeah, man, that's kind of how that happened, and official visits, all that stuff went amazing. My parents loved it. I felt love right away. And yeah, me and Coach D hit it off, and still are. He's going to be at the Hall of Fame as well. But yeah, me, Tressel, Narduzzi, all those guys, Barnett. I still talk to all those guys today, and text, and in person when I see him. I just saw HB at a golf outing, then at the Spartan reunion. So yeah, man, it's been a great journey. But yeah, to answer your question about transformation, that's how that happened.
Now, you mentioned Pat Narduzzi. I was going to get to it a little later, but you just mentioned him. Do you call him when he makes these comments about Michigan State, and if that's the best the Big Ten has to offer? Do you call him and like, what are we talking about here? You were there, you understand, or is that just the competitiveness of him, just always trying to get his guys going?
I think it's kind of a few different parts. One, hell yeah, dude, he's competitive. Like hell yeah, like I mean everything. I've learned that, and I'm so happy that I got to be a part of that, and him coaching me, and eventually because I became a captain and a signal caller, we got really close there. So yeah, without a doubt. Man, I know it's also, he doesn't like losing. I don't think anybody likes losing at that level. So, Coach Tucker got one on him in that sense. And obviously both players that, were missing, both teams are missing their key players as well, too. So, yeah, man, it's a little bit of everything, man. And without a doubt, he's trying to get the guys going. Doozy uses a lot of different things. And no, to answer your question, I do not call him when he says those things because dude, like, I mean, I remember he was worked up. I know he was a little worked up before and after the game. And we had some conversations, but I just try to stay out of it as best as possible. The last time, because he had called me, he had just left my high school. He was recruiting at Moeller in Cincinnati, and he had just left, and so I called him. This is obviously in the off season, but yeah, man, it was. I do not call him. I stay out of that, man. I don't call Coach Tucker either. Okay, so both those guys are
great. That game probably had to be difficult for the older Spartans under D'Antonio, because I got to imagine D'Antonio. I'm assuming he was kind of like that mother at the game that wears like half a jersey, half one color, half the other colors, because you guys want to support Narduzzi, but you also want to support your alma mater.
Well, I played for Coach Tucker in Jacksonville. He was my D coordinator. So that was real. That was really tough as far as rooting. And then, with Coach Narduzzi. And then I trained a couple kids that play for Coach Narduzzi as well. So yeah, dude, that was that was tough, Rico. That was tough, dog. That was very tough. And I think Coach D knows enough to stay neutral and still be supportive at the same time, for sure.
We're talking with Hall of Famer, MSU Hall of Famer Greg Jones, and Greg. I mean, when you look at your time playing football, what was your best memory? And, was it days at Michigan State? Was it winning that Super Bowl with the Giants? What was that moment that you'll cherish the most?
Wow. Man.
That gave me the big bucks, Greg.
Yeah, I know, man. To narrow it down to one moment's really hard. I think there's to me, Mount Rushmore moments. I think my first game, getting the sack in my second play ever. That was a big moment for me because, as a freshman going in and at that level, everything's going on in your head and you're walking out there, sprinting out there, to get in the game. And I didn't start that first game, and coach said, I'm gonna give you some opportunity, and you better take advantage of it. So, to one kind of solidify that I can take advantage of the opportunity given. That was truly amazing. Our Big Ten championship year in 2010, after coming back from 6 and 7, that was without a doubt one of them. For sure, winning the Super Bowl and proposing to my wife, that's one of them. And then I want to say now, man, I think with the Hall of Fame, I've always wanted, I wanted to be in the Hall of Fame, not going to lie about it. Definitely was wondering, and it was in the back of my head, will I ever get in, when people talk about it just out, at dinner or whatever. But I guess just wanted to see I have 3 kids now, and wanting them to see that and what I've been able to do means a lot. I try to inspire them, which is much encouragement. But actually setting the example so that way they can see it. And yeah, man, that was those moments, man, are pretty much top in my mind. And then obviously, going 3-1 versus Michigan, man, that's big. That's big.
Wow. I had one question, but you brought up Michigan, so I got to ask.
Do it.
So I was born, and my dad says he raised me right, and he raised me to hate the University of Michigan. And, growing up in Southeastern Michigan, a lot of my friends are Michigan fans, and so we have wars. But coming from Cincinnati, when does it get ingrained in your head to just hate everything about them? I mean, I won't if they're in gymnastics, I root against them. If it's rowing, it doesn't matter.
You could be flipping a coin.
I'm always
Right.
looking for them to lose in the most embarrassing fashion ever. But from somebody that's not from here, how does that get ingrained to you to just hate? Is it just as easy as them talking and growing it that way? Is it Mark D'Antonio putting it into you? Is it getting to know the teammates that are from the state of Michigan? What is it? Is it all encompassed? But what is it that makes your hate just so strong?
There was such a level of disrespect before the game, during the game, and after the game that was like you hated that. You know what I mean? I think as any player, especially now, dude, with everything going on in college sports, especially football right now, how wild it is. But there is just such a level of disrespect that, every time as somebody that come, play for state, you try to show respect even a little bit. And, they got a kid stumping on our Spartan head at the 50-yard line. Right. And it's like, but we've never done that, you know what I mean, before a game. So at least to my knowledge. And so that right there, man, that level of disrespect is just like unmatched. And so I think that's what develops that hate. And then to the point where where you're at right now, every time you see them, you don't care. Some people are like, oh, it's bad for the Big Ten. I still wouldn't care, right? Like, I hope they lose by 50. I don't want it to be close. You know what I mean? Because it's just such a level of disrespect. Now, outside of football now, doing business, there's a little bit of that there, but like I got buddies and Rico, Mike Martin, and me and him are we talk every now and then, not as much as we used to, but he's a good dude, and I got a chance to do a camp with Denard Robinson, and he's a really, really good dude. So there are some guys out there that are really good dudes, and like I said, outside of football. But the majority during the season, man, it's just such a level of disrespect. But at the same time, I mean, you brought up, with the Super Bowl and everything. I played with Mario Manningham and Dave Bass, and a lot of guys that I want to ring with. So I got to be thankful, especially Mario, because he caught a ball in cover two between the corner and safety that basically won us that game, and got us in position to score again and actually win the Super Bowl. So, man, I gotta thank him for that too, though, man. So, yeah, no, we have our battles. I'll be honest with you. We have our battles, obviously on the field, but now, it's more verbal now. At least try to keep it more verbal now. But, yeah, man, that's where the hate starts. Start with just a very high level of disrespect. That's where that starts at.
Talking with Greg Jones. And Greg, looking at the current team, Mel Tucker in the program, what are your thoughts and where this program is headed?
Wow, man. I knowing Tuck again, I play for Tuck, so I understand, the level and the standard. I think he just posted about it not too long ago. The standard is the standard. And he demands that, and he will find the right guys to meet that standard. I'm happy the way he responded after the first game, because I agreed. I don't think that it's not going to continue that way, but without a doubt, given the amount of hype and everything coming in, it was not the best start. I'm not saying the guys played bad. A win's a win, especially like I said before in college sports. But where things are headed, I think when you're that honest on a consistent basis, you are headed to greatness, and that I do know in football. And he's going to constantly show them, their face in the mirror and what's being seen in the film room. And I like the guys a lot, the young guys. I kind of talked to a couple of them on social media from time to time, and great dudes. hungry dudes. They're just willing to go after it, but they got to adjust to Big Ten ball, and that's part of it. When you have a lot of new guys coming together that are the guys, 4-star, 5-star, all that stuff, you got to find that chemistry, and I think that's just what they are working on right now, is being able to find that chemistry. They got a great team, but within the team, you still need great chemistry in order to win close games. And there's going to be some along the way, and you got to win some games on the road, especially, going to Washington and Michigan this year. Like, you got to win those hard games on the road.
You know what? You talk about the locker room, Greg, and being you at Michigan State, a captain.
Yeah.
What's it like when you walk in there? Because, I guess back then it was, hey, I'm hot shot 4 or 5-star freshman coming in. How quickly do you kind of break them of that and let them know it's team? And did things just get a new layer added now with the whole NIL and players getting paid money, that an incoming freshman could make more money than a 4th or 5th year senior?
Yeah, I think that when they realize that you can't do it by yourself, meaning a linebacker, right? A linebacker doesn't make any throws. A linebacker doesn't make any catches. So you're not the guy anymore. Like, a lot of these guys come in playing 2 positions. That's part of it. Or now, hey, you're just one and you better dominate in that one position. The other part is that, with that competition, like, we're going to make each other better to win a game and eventually, right, try to go out and win a championship as well too. But just the understanding that you cannot do it alone, and that you need communication to be good, and understand too, that, look, man, there are some guys I play with that I did not like, but as I told, I coach my son's team, that between the lines, we are family. Like, for that time being, those 2 to 3 hours a day or in a game, that we are family and we're going to have each other's back. I think once you understand that and want to understand that, I think that's when you start to build team chemistry. But that also takes guys being unselfish. So you talked about walking in a locker room. Like, I was unselfish enough to, like, not just chill out with the seniors. I'll go hang out with the freshmen. I go talk, to the walk-on guys. I go talk to the new guys just got to the team, inviting them out, grabbing dinner. You know what I mean? All that stuff behind the scenes as well too, to kind of get to know one another. And when they realize that, man, we're all coming from one spot, trying to win a game and win a championship, one go, I think that's when you start to build that team chemistry, just unselfishly.
Hey, Greg, any I don't know. I don't know what the word would be. Maybe you came along too soon when you're seeing the athletes and riding around in Lamborghinis and cars and G-Wagons, and you're sitting there saying, man, I was struggling just to get, $5 for a pizza.
It's for real. Truly. No, I got that question before, and a lot of people have been just like, kind of just nice about it. Like, dude, you would have made a ton. And I'm appreciative, but I think, man, one thing I've always realized, especially after playing in the league and then seeing stuff happen, is that you can't buy championships. You can't. You can always make more money, dude. There's a million ways to make $1 million, right? And so you can always do that. You have the time, as long as you're alive, you keep breathing. Like 2 Chainz said, like, as long as you breathe and you win. And so, I'm not worried about the financial part. I think one thing that I feel honored by is, like, and you said it earlier, to be somewhat of a cornerstone on the foundation that they're in right now and the platform they're on right now. I feel honored with that, because you can't buy that. Like, there's no amount of money. You can try, you know what I mean? But if you're doing it for the money, in most cases, right, like, you'll find something else that makes more money and then you'll leave, right? So I did it because I want to be remembered. I did it because when I go back to the stadium, my name sticks, and notice there's no price tags next to my name. There's just an honor of putting in more work than the next guy to be remembered.
All right. Well, maybe this question is going to fall flat based off of what you just said. But the weird things that I think about is I think about old players who now look at the Michigan State Spartans. And when you played, you had a green jersey, you had white pants, you had a white jersey and white pants. Now, when you see these Spartans take the field, they might be in neon green. They might be wearing all these different uniform combinations.
White helmets,
like things that you never would have ever thought existed when you played.
Right.
You sit back and you're like, man, I wish I had a few of those things when we played.
Oh yeah, man. That stuff, yeah, for sure. The gear, dude, that they're getting, I'm like, dude, like, please, like, let me get some of that. But at the same time, though, man, I'm happy again, dude. Like, and I guess that's just me. I'm happy that these guys are getting to experience something better. I love that. The only thing I don't like is that there was the ruling of like you had to fit in the box. So they're letting the guys be more creative. They're letting the guys become more business men in their own right, and I love that. And so no, man, I let them do their stuff though. I mean, I'm getting a lot of respect from the young guys and everything. But long as when I come back, I can get me a shirt or a hat or you know what I mean, some kicks or whatever the case may be. I feel blessed, man. I'm good to go.
Do you ever sit back and think, like, I was born in 83, so the Rose Bowl in 88, I was way too young to remember. And so Michigan State football between 88 and when you played were kind of down, right?
Yeah.
Do you ever sit back and think about how you just you created a program within a program that was there for years and years and years, but the success wasn't there? What was it like when you guys reached that success in that locker room? Was it like, we expected this to happen, we saw this was going to happen? But what was it like to experience that? Because I'm sure when you're getting recruited to Michigan State and choosing that over Minnesota and everything, that they didn't have the best track record in winning Big Tens, but then you come in and you set a new standard. So what was that like in that locker room when you guys achieved that?
Man, so it was and it's probably something I'm talking about in my Hall of Fame speech, man. We bet on ourselves, I think, and I say that in the sense that like we got together as a group, like so the seniors of that class in 07, and they kind of got everybody together and just we just wanted to sacrifice. And then after that, we learned how to do that as, you know, me, Kirk Cousins, all of us that were freshmen at that time. And we're like, dude, like we know what to do. And you got to remember in 08, we lost like 7 games, or sorry, 09, we lost like 7 games by like 1 point, dude. You know what I mean? And it's like you take those games and we win, you know what I mean? And it's a whole new story, even just in 09. So we realized how close we were. We realized the sacrifice that was needed. We just needed more guys doing it. And once we understood that, Kirk understood that, and me and him would bounce ideas off of one another, just like, hey, dude, let's just go get these guys here. So we would like, you know, and you talk about, you know, what that's like. We would just like make sure we kept the guys around one another, learning each other's names, learning about each other's backgrounds, like I said before. And that's what that was. It was just a bet on the sacrifice that we put in. And at the end, man, yeah, the feeling of that was just amazing, dude, because it's like, wow, like when you bet on yourself, when you bet on the people around you that's going to have your back, you know, for that time being, you know, whether you're a freshman and you play 4 years with somebody, or in the case where they're in right now, where they're having guys come in from transfer portal that are going to be around for 1 or 2 seasons or 3 seasons. When you get those guys around, man, yeah, like that's what, you know, it feels amazing, dude, because you're betting on people that and yourself, man, like, because it's not easy, guys. Like you said before, you can make that same bet and then that happen. You know what I mean? You can. And to put all that sacrifice in there and to do all the extra stuff, you can do that, man. But I rather know than not. I rather know than not.
Talking with Greg Jones, headed into the MSU Hall of Fame. And Greg, you mentioned it a lot during this interview, how you're training kids.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about Piiva. You're the vice president there. Tell us about Piiva.
Yeah, so Piiva.com, guys, when you guys check it out, we do awareness meditation, breath work, visualization. We also have a biofeedback reader that helps players get into the zone and play with less anxiety. It can be done on your phone, tablet, or computer. We do 5-minute increments, and it's a guided tour in an 8-week core program for athletes, and it's all sports and co-ed. So it's something that I've been around, and during COVID, I work with a lot of guys that were starting to get down, parents, all this stuff, and trying to find just motivation at the same time, like, try to find ways to get around the stress of, I may not have a season after working with me, you know what I mean, for 5 or 6 months. And then like, coach, like, I don't got a season, what I'm going to do. And so I reached out, and me and this guy named Robert Hart, he's the CEO out of Canada. He's from the Montreal area. And we got together and started building this thing out and throwing ideas and how to do reach outs. And eventually he's like, hey, man, would you come on? I said, I would love to. And so that's kind of how we got together, Ben. But the app is amazing. We're working with a lot of schools right now, a lot of kids all over. One of the groups we're working with, Coach Narduzzi with Pitt, working with some of those guys out there, hopefully to work with more colleges and professional athletes as we speak right now. Again, in all phases, we actually just opened up an esports wing as well too, that we're going to be working with as well with a group out there. So I'm excited, man. It's a great app. So please, if you got time, please check it out. It's basically like some people say, when they look at it, it's like a Calm or Headspace for athletes, made by athletes. And we want to help players.
You're working on the mental aspect of it.
Yeah, we're working on the mental aspect, because you got strength training, you got speed training, you got condition training, but what are you doing for your mind and your mental health, as well as like being a competitor, right? So our stuff, like you look at Calm and things like that, they're kind of more on the relaxing side and sleep and all that stuff too. We have that in there in our app as well too, but we also have that aspect to help you play better in your games and get into that zone, so that way you can accomplish what you want to accomplish on the field.
Evan, I wonder if a guy like Sam McGuffey may chime in, because I remember when Greg Jones ended his career at Michigan, he tried to jump up and Greg was not having it that day.
Oh my God, man. I remember that like it was, we told him, so I'll give you guys some inside information. We in the game, myself, Eric Gordon, who is coming to the Hall of Fame. I love that dude. Brandon Denson, who's doing the video for me for the event. I love that dude. We're all three linebackers. And we told him, like, dude, do not do that jumping thing. And he didn't listen. So it was a fair warning. I hope that kid's okay in his life right now, wherever he's at right now, Sam. We did give you a warning, brother, but hey, look, man, it is what it is.
So I'm curious, like, even after those games where you guys kicked their ass, right? Let's be honest. Do they even say good game to you afterwards?
No. If you remember, it's actually documents on film. There was they ran out, right? They ran out to the M, and we grabbed the trophy. They went their way. It was done, dude. So I would say, man, it's one of those rivalries. No, it's a no shake game, unfortunately, man. Yeah, I mean, we might talk. I mean, now they could do social media, but before then, we played, we didn't have it, so that was it, right? So
Greg is still going the same way. If you saw the end of the game last year,
yeah,
Aiden Hutchinson, before the game was over, sprinted to the locker room, was like, nope, I wanted nothing to do with that. Hey, yeah. Greg, before we let you go,
yes, sir.
Any chance that you end up on a sideline becoming an assistant coach, head coach? Is that something in your dreams?
Yes, me and the wife have talked about that. It's a timing thing. Again, I got 3 young kids, 8, 7, and 3. So, and we got some business things that we're sorting out. But without a doubt, I'm going to be on a sideline somewhere right now. But right now, like I said, my daughter's in cheer and ballet, and then I got 2 boys that are coming up, and I want to make sure I give them a good foundation. But without a doubt, Rico, has been talked about. I've been offered a couple of different gigs in some different schools. So, yeah, without a doubt, I'm definitely thinking about it. And because I love the game and I love working with the guys, it's just amazing. And girls too. I work with some female tackle athletes as well too. Yeah.
Well, I got to think that at some point you're going to become recruiting dad as you take your kids out for visits. Evan, this is what happens when you put a football player with a basketball player and they have kids.
Yep.
They're kind of going to be athletic.
Yeah, dude. We got, they're all athletes. All of them. Like Ava, my oldest daughter, my oldest kid, and my daughter, she's a runner. She likes being on the track stuff and going after things. And then my two boys, man. I mean, Max is amazing, and he's a running back linebacker. He actually this week just moved from outside to inside linebacker. And
yeah, I wonder where you learned that from.
I know, man. I know. He just likes hitting people, man. And dude, this is a true story. He actually, so our first day of practice with pads, he did not have a single tackle and was in full tears the whole ride back home. And so finally he's been getting tackles, and he had a great scrimmage just recently. But anyhow, yes, to answer your question, yeah, man, I'm definitely looking at that. And yeah, that's going to be happening. Hopefully, as soon as I get these guys through, you're going to see me out there somewhere.
Well, Greg, congratulations on going into the Hall of Fame at MSU. I'm sure you and Mandy and your family are very happy. Thank Mandy for loaning us to you for a little bit.
Yes.
I know you do daddy duty as well.
Yes.
Congratulations once again, Greg. We'll see you this Saturday.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right. Greg Jones joining us here on the 5 Star Zone.